right, we're going to go over all these problems that are SAT-based ratios, rates, and proportions problems. So when we see these two proportions, fractions are proportions. So when you see a proportion equals another proportion, the easiest thing to do is to cross multiply. Okay, you can also think of them as equivalent fractions. So you can be like, okay, well, if I'm going from 5 to 15, that's times 3. So x times 3 gives me this guy. So that's a little bit harder to think about. It's easier just to think of it as an equation that we can solve with cross multiplication. So 15 times x is equal to 5 times x plus 20. Okay, then we distribute. Then we subtract to combine like terms. And so we get x equals 10. Now, you might be like, ooh, A. However, it's not asking for what x is, it's asking for x over 5. So the answer is 10 over 5, which is 2. All right, number 2. Same thing. This is actually can be written as a fraction, so I'm still going to use cross multiplication. 1 times t plus 5 is just t plus 5, and then 10 times t minus 5. And then I'm going to distribute. And combine like terms. And I get 55 over 9. Oh, you can see that. But it's really just doing the algebra that goes with it. T equals 55 over 9. All right, we did those two in the Zoom session, so now we'll keep going here. It's asking, the table above represents the 50 movies that had the greatest ticket sales in 2012, categorized by movie type and Motion Picture Association of America. This is a bunch of blah, blah, blah. The question is, what proportion of the movies are comedies with PG-13 ratings? So of all the movies, so that's what I'm looking at as my denominator. The cool thing is that anything that really comes after the of is your denominator. So of all the movies, out of all of the movies, which ones are comedies with PG-13 ratings? So I'm going to look at comedies with PG-13 ratings. 4. And I don't see that as an option here, but I do see that I can reduce this fraction and come up with an equivalent proportion, an equivalent ratio, which is 2 out of 25. A. All right. Number 4. Here's the big table here, and the question is, of the following, which program's ratio of its 2007 to 2010, so we're going from 2007 to 2010, which program's ratio is closest to the human ratio program of 2007 to 2010? So the human resources budget of 2007 to 2010 is this number to this number. Okay, and I can write that as a fraction as well. So you can write it as a ratio, or the ratio can be written as a fraction as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a decimal to go with that. Now, for me, what I would like to do, because typing all those numbers takes a while, is I might I can do this. And I get 0.68. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one of these ratios and see which one's closest to 0.68. Now, the thing is, these are going to take me a while to go through because there are so many numbers. So what I might actually do is just do like the first 4 numbers of each. So this is 3739 divided by the first 4 numbers of this one is 4881. So this ratio is about 0.766. Education, 2164. divided by 3008. Okay, because they're the same place value. These are like 2 million over 3 million. So they're essentially, you can just kind of reduce it so you're just looking at the whole numbers in front. You can do the whole thing though, if that makes you uncomfortable. You can do the whole thing. Okay, but I'm not going to because it takes too much time. So this is like 1468 divided by 1773, which is 0.83. And then 2634 divided by 464, which is 0.57. So the closest thing to 0.68 is B, education. All right, this guy. You've got a couple of options here. I'll go through option 1 and then option 2. So if a 3-pound pizza is sliced in half and each half is then sliced into thirds, what is the weight in ounces of each slice? So the question is, what is the weight in ounces of each slice? So I can picture my pizza, and I'm gonna cut it in half, and then I'm gonna cut each half into thirds. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So really I'm looking at a 6-slice pizza. So I want it in ounces. I know that the whole pizza is 3 pounds. So what I'm going to do is set up a proportion. So I know this proportion is true. So I'm going to set up what I know here. 1 pound is to 16 ounces. Pound, ounces. Okay. What I do have is pounds, so that's on top. And I'm looking for ounces. Now I'm going to cross multiply. So I know that this pizza, the whole thing, is 48 ounces. Now I only want 1 slice, and there are 6 slices. So what I want to do is I want to take that 48 and divide it equally among those 6 slices. So I'm really dividing by 6. So it should be 8 ounces. Okay? C. That's one way to do it. Another way is to be like, okay, I'm going to take those 3 pounds, I'm dividing it in half, 1.5 pounds, and then I'm dividing it by 3.5 pounds. So I have half a pound, and I want to figure out how many ounces that is. I can set up a proportion. And I get 8. So you can narrow it down to 1 slice in pounds and then figure out how many ounces is that 1 slice. Or you can do the whole pizza in ounces and then determine how much is that 1 slice. So either way, you get 8. Okay, this next guy. A hospital store stores 1 type of medicine in 2 decagram containers. Based on the information given in the box above, how many milligram doses are there in 1 2 decagram container? So what I have is 2 decagrams, and I want to know how many milliliters is that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up proportions because these are the ones I know. So I know I have 2 decagrams, and I know that 1 decagram is equal to 10 grams, and I have 2 decagrams, and I want to know how many grams that is. So that's X equals 20 grams. So I have 20 grams. Now I'm looking for milligrams. So now I know I have 20 grams. So I know this setup, 1 gram, is to 1,000 milligrams. Oh, shoot, dang. Hang on. Put it in the wrong spot, sorry. So to milligrams, 1,000 milligrams. And I have 20 grams, and I want to figure out how many milligrams that is. Again, I cross multiply, so X is equal to 20,000. All right, next. Number 7. The pace, a Roman measure of length, is approximately equal to 11.65 inches. So 1 pace equals 11.65 inches. It is also equivalent to 16 smaller Roman units called digits. Based on these relationships, 75, this is 16 Roman digits. 75 Roman digits is equivalent to how many feet to the nearest hundredth? Okay, so I know that I can go from Roman digits to inches, right? Because it says that each of these are equal. So the proportion that I know is 16 digits is to 11.65 inches. That's the proportion I know, and I know I have 75 digits. And I'm gonna look for how many inches that is. So I'm gonna cross multiply, use my calculator to do 75 times 11.65, and then divide by 16. And now the question is, how many feet to the nearest hundredth? So this is inches. How do I go from inches to feet? Well, I can again set up a proportion. Okay, I'm gonna put that up here. I know that 12 inches is to 1 foot, and I have 54.609375 inches, and I wanna figure out how many feet that is. So 12x equals 54.609, and then divide by 12. So to the nearest hundredth, it's 4.55. This is the hundredths place. Technically, there's a 0 here, and so to the nearest hundredth, it's 4.55 feet. All right. Number 8. So again, it's just using proportions to help us figure out when we're multiplying, when we're dividing, all that kind of stuff. So the distance traveled by Earth in one orbit around the sun is 580 million miles. Whew. Earth makes one complete orbit around the sun in 1 year. So one orbit is 580,000 miles, or million miles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that's in 1 year. Of the following, which is the closest to the average speed of Earth in miles per hour as it orbits the sun? So right now we have 580 million miles per year, and we need to get it per hour. All right, so a year is 365 days, right? Okay, so we have 580 million miles for 365 days. Okay, and now we know that there is, so really what we need to do is convert the days into hours. Okay, so really what we're saying is for each day there are 24 hours. So now I'm going to say times 24. $365 times 24, that's 8,760 hours. Now we don't want it for 8,760, we want it the unit rate. So we want per 1 hour. So we're just going to divide the 580 million by 8,760, because what we're really doing is saying I'm going to divide this by 8,760, divide this by 8,760, so that I can go 8,760 divided by 8,760 is 1 hour. And then 580 million, it's just an equivalent fraction is really all it is. 580 million, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, divided by 8,760 is 66,210 miles per hour. So that is A. So 580 million, and then divide by how many hours there are. Okay, number 9. A quality control manager at a factory selects 7 light bulbs at random for inspection out of every 400 light bulbs produced. At this rate, how many light bulbs will be inspected if the factory produces 20,000 light bulbs? Okay, so it says 7 light bulbs at random out of every 400 light bulbs produced. How many light bulbs will be inspected? So 7 inspected for every 400 produced. And we're looking for how many inspected out of 200,000 produced. All right, and so then we cross multiply. And then we divide. So 1, 4, 1, 2, 3 divided by 4, 35. Oh, I'm missing. I have too many zeros, I think. I put too many zeros there. 200,000. Yeah, there's just too many zeros. Sorry. And you get x is 350. All right, that's how I would set it up. You might be able to do it a different way. I'm sure there's another way to do it. By all means, do it as long as it's not just guessing. You actually have reasons behind what you're doing, okay? Some people like to do the unit rate, so they'll just divide and they'll find that unit rate, 7 out of 400, and then they'll multiply that by the 200,000. Oh, that's why. 20,000, not 200,000. Okay, there we go. All right, number 10. A partially filled pool contains 600 gallons of water. A hose is turned on and water flows into the pool at the rate of 8 gallons per minute. How many gallons of water, X gallons, after 70 minutes? There we go, cross multiply. Boom. All right, this was our distractor. We didn't need it, okay? And that's number 1 through 10. This is what is required for you to submit. If you would like to get extra credit, I'll be doing the rest of the problems in a different video for you to watch for extra credit for you to go through those problems, okay? If you want to do the rest of the problems, please do them on your own first and then use the video to supplement your learning if you don't understand how to get to an answer. All right, good luck on the Khan Academy quizzes, and you have this video notes to submit and the Khan Academy quizzes to do for full credit. Extra is doing the extra problems on this sheet.